Hello and welcome. I'm Carl, and this is a simple walk. I'm going to be talking about my authorization and getting into the SCA, as well as a couple insights I found doing the melee, which sadly we won't get to see much of. Well, this was my auth. I put up a separate video of just my authorization, which it was a lot of fun. It was really good to have it, and I really enjoyed fighting the knight. I forget his name, but he was really nice. All the marshals were nice. There's two of them. All three of the marshals are in red, but the one in the lamellar was a marshal in training, I believe. And he was really nice. Really, everyone in the SCA I've met has been nice, or I really haven't talked to them. That's the way it seems. With Civil War, you get kind of some people are a little too set in their ways, or this is how it happened, no, this is how it happened, or you're supposed to be doing this, or you're supposed to be doing that. With SCA, it's a more friendly disagreement than it is, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. And you get a lot more of the everybody wants to have fun, everybody just kind of wants to do whatever. And that's what I like. Now, back onto my authorization. In the other video, you'll hear people talking behind Kat, who's filming this. That's actually the, as of this recording, current king talking to the current prince of the Mid-Realm. Now, I didn't know that they were watching my authorization, or else I'd be a hell of a lot more nervous than what I was. And, well, I wasn't really nervous, because we did some training. I felt pretty darn confident in my abilities, and it went well. The king apparently even commented saying that his authorization took 30 minutes, and mine only took 7. So, 7 or 8. It's somewhere in there. So that was an interesting thing. I also found out the pootages, the things that kind of go flying when I move, a couple fell off. And thankfully I was able to find all of them, and it was all good. Sadly, though, everyone in my barony wanted to watch me get authorized, but very few people were actually able to. But thankfully I have this video, and Saradwin, who you saw briefly a little while back, and you'll probably see more of her, watched, and she likes to just watch the fighting. She doesn't participate, but she's a great water bearer, and is a really good friend of ours. I believe at some point Kat screams out Abdul. He's a friend in one of the neighboring baronies. He does a Turkish persona, which is interesting because I do a Byzantine persona, and, well, he's a good friend. He's really good at raps. Yeah, really good. When I fought him, I think I only fought him once or twice. He knows how to do raps. But anyway, I'm glad that they do these authorizations just to be safe with everything, because it can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, or you're not doing it right. It's just, it is a dangerous sport, and they even ask you, do you understand that this is a dangerous sport? Which is good. They ask that, I guess, before every fight, because when I took part in the melee, they asked it again. And they had already asked me when I was doing my authorization, so I guess they do it before every fight, but we'll see later how that goes. Well, during the fight, a couple insights from someone who's done different eras and, learned a lot. And I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I study the medieval era quite a bit, so I know some, maybe not as much as others, of the era, but it was interesting fighting with our barony, maybe not with our baron. He actually came right as I was leaving, because I had other stuff to do that day, otherwise I would have fought all day, and we probably would have had more melee footage, but,
yes.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Sorry.
Now, one thing I noticed was during one of the fights,
for the first time.
I hadn't died, but our unit had broken apart, and then we reformed. When we reformed, we were marching off to another part of the battlefield, and we were marching. I saw some people next to us. I recognized I thought I recognized their coat of arms on their shields as friendlies. Well, it turns out they had been on the other side and they were enemies. So when people started yelling, "It's still on, it's still on," next thing I knew, I'm in a small shield wall with a couple of my buddies, and I have like 3 spears jamming into my shield at once. That was certainly interesting. It certainly leads credence to what Lindy Beige said about how people in the middle or the back might start saying, "Are those our people? Are we sure those are our people? I don't recognize that coat of arms or anything like that," and just simple stuff like that. So it certainly leads credence to the whole idea of routing suddenly, because there was a lot of heraldry flying around during the high medieval time, and it's, well, are you friend, are you foe? I haven't really, studied who would have been friend or foe during any battle, and not a lot of times, but a number of times people have switched in the middle of battles. So now we're going to get to a couple pictures. Here, Kat seems to have taken a picture right after I got offed. Next, this is a picture of us forming up to fight, and, well, behind me is a knight. That's Silverthorn, wearing a quartered garment, and then to what would be the left of me would have been our Knights Marshal, but you can't see him because Silverthorn's a big guy. And then we have in the red and white with the spear, that's Eskil, which he's a really cool guy. Actually, his wife took a number of pictures that I'm going to be using, so credit here and in the description. Now, it looks like we're marching off to face a couple people in black armor with red shields. Those are the 20th Legion. You saw a legionary of theirs fight in one of my previous videos. Let me tell you, they make an imposing force on the battlefield because they're all in the same armor, they all have the same equipment, relatively, and they look good. They look good. We didn't actually fight them. We got paired up against the Royal Guard of Ethelmark, which you'll see here in a bit how good the Royals are with Ethelmark. Let's see. Then we have another picture of us getting ready in the melee. We're just about to close in. I did not have a shield that would have been good for melee. I had a shield that would have been great for tourney, especially for my style fighting. In this picture you see Eskil moved around, so did Silverthorn, and you have a good picture of my back with the favor the cat had given me. She actually made that for Valentine's Day, but didn't give it to me until that morning so that I could wear it for my authorization and my first melee. And I have to say, melee was a lot of fun. I had a couple people just land on top of me, which was very different than Civil War reenacting. And here we have me dead, and Eskil standing heroically, fighting off a lot of people with a spear, and Silverthorn kind of covering him. Silverthorn stepped up, he has a polearm, and he stepped up to take my place in the wall. I really wish I had a larger shield, and the people next to us, which I believe was Red Spears. I wish they had advanced with us, or we didn't advance as much, because they put me, an inexperienced fighter, on the right. And that was very different, because I get attacked on the right side, I have no shield. I only got speared once on my actual side, and thankfully I had armor and padding and stuff, or else that would have been a very hard blow. I did get hit once in the head, and then later in the head. I got a lot of head kills. People hit me in the head a lot. Which, my first time out, I got killed by the Queen of Ethelmark, who the next picture is a very good picture of her. I wish it wasn't as blurry, but it's still a very good picture, again by Raven. So is this one by Raven. And then another time out, I got hit in the head by the King of Ethelmark. They're very good. They're very good at what they do. They're both spearmen. They're both very good at being spearmen. How good, you ask? Well, this next picture will kind of show it. And it really shows how good she is. That's a whole, like, squad of our people. And the lady in red, well, you can't really tell it's a lady, but the person in red in the front holding a spear to literally everyone else is the Queen of Ethelmark. She's a badass. Little hard on the face, but, well, when you have a spear and the only place you aren't really protected by a shield is the face, she did pretty good. I mean, here she's holding off quite a large number of our guys with just her. So that should tell you. Well, I've rambled on for quite a long time now. I'm going to leave it with just a little bit of video from the melee that we have. So I will see you all next time, and if you want, see you on the battlefield if you're in the SCA or any other of the reenactment groups that are watching this. Goodbye.
Yay!